come true. Can someone please buy a vowel? Of the 44 players starting in the game, 32 had names that ended with an A, E, I, or O. That's what you get when two of the area's most Italian-dominated schools get together. Two former rivals now renewing their rivalry for the first time in 13 years. Harrison coach Art Troilo, his name ends in a vowel, but he spelled offense S-A-M. Junior Sam Maldonado running over and through Eastchester. 12 yards, no vowels, just a TD, and a 21-0 Harrison lead. Still in the first half, Maldonado winning this spelling bee hands down. 4 yards on the sit and spin. His fourth touchdown of the half, 28-0 Huskies. Second half, more from the Candyman. The sweet feet of Maldonado. He rushed for 191 yards on 16 carries. 4 touchdowns, all Harrison in this one. 36-6 the final. You can see that game tomorrow at 9:30 on MSG Metro channels. Some scores to digest. Sleepy Hollow's 4-0 after a 39-0 win over Tappan Zee. Valhalla shuts out Bronxville. Greeley uses overtime to beat Ossining 19-12. And Gould wins their first of the year over Ardsley 8-7. A rerun of Family Matters. Gorton's Don DiMatteo and Roosevelt's Tony DiMatteo square off for the 16th time. Hard to tell there, but Roland Neowacha recovers the fumble in the end zone, gives Tony's Indians the 7-0 edge. The defense did their part, and then for good measure, it's your Danny Yakud as your insurance salesman. This touchdown run puts Roosevelt up 17-0. Tony is now 11-4-1 against Don. Roosevelt's 2-2 after pitching the shutout.
I'm happy with the win. Very upset for my brother. He works too hard to be 0-4. It's killing me inside, but I have to move on, and I'm just glad it's over.
White Plains and Mount Vernon are both 2-2 after the Tigers' 27-19 win. New Rochelle scores 6 for the second straight week, but this time it comes in a loss. Lincoln has yet to. Fox Lane drops the 31-0 Bagel, and Iona Prep continues their dominance over Stepinac, 47-14, the final in that one. College football, number 1, and it ended up being the most lopsided Harrison win in 48 years. Sam Maldonado run wild for 178 yards and 3 touchdowns, 42-7 the final. Harrison is 5-1. They will meet undefeated Sleepy Hollow next week. And in Valhalla, the undefeated Vikings clinched first place in League D South with a win over Tuckahoe. Frank Daniels led the ground attack, 126. Today, one team would be League B South champions. And Briarcliff looks to bounce back from last week's loss to Croton Harmon. Your high school football Saturday is next.
Now with sports, starting with some high school football action.
Yeah, and probably 2 of the best running backs in Section 1 getting together on the same field today. 5-1 Harrison was ready to rewrite the legend of Sleepy Hollow. In this version, the Headless Horseman is not so scary. In fact, in Harrison's version, the Headless Horseman gets beat, falls from the ranks of the undefeated, and everyone in Harrison lives happily ever after. 4,000 plus on hand for the battle of the running backs and Class B South supremacy. Chapter 1 belongs to Harrison's Sammy Maldonado. Nearly goes down on the far sideline, but keeps his balance and turns it up the field. The Candyman with the sweetest of runs, 74 yards. The visiting Huskies go up 17-9. Trevor Dimmy not to be outdone. Very next possession, Dimmy shining brightly up the gut, and look at the speed. 40 yards of his own. Westchester's leading rusher pulls the Headless Horseman within 2, 17-15. Harrison then goes to the trickery. Not Maldonado. They go airmail. Donnie Marsuco looking for Jamie Telesco and connecting 41 yards. Finally gets in. Harrison led 24-15. Fourth quarter, Harrison up 24-21, and it's the Dimmy Shivvy. Trevor Dimmy laughs last and laughs best. 40 yards, the game winner. Sleepy Hollow 28, Harrison 24.
At the beginning of the game, man, I felt shaking. I had to try to clear my head, man. And then we came out, we played together as a team, as a family. We wanted to do all week. Hands up this win. We played together. That's all that counts. We played as a team, yes.
Well, Byram Hills dropped their varsity program this year, then goes out and finishes a perfect
rematch against Sleepy Hollow.
Looking for something to
Weekend in high school football, much like the first round of the NCAA basketball tournament. Games here, games there, games everywhere. Sleepy Hollow had a better shot at tackling the win than taking down Harrison running back Sammy Maldonado. Sam the man manhandled the Horsemen into plastic ponies in the Class B section championship. He got started early. Huskies' second play from scrimmage, call it Maldonado left. Sammy's first touchdown of the night, 47 yards. Sleepy Hollow in a 7-0 hole. Trevor Dimmy had 275 yards last time the two teams played. Tonight, he gets roughed up. Meanwhile, the Sam the Man tour continues through Sleepy Hollow. Second quarter, Maldonado, another 47 yards, another touchdown. He had 215 yards by the half. Harrison up 27-6. Third quarter, more of Sam, more of the same. Go ahead, look back. They're not going to look back again. They're not going to get you. Sammy Maldonado, 7 touchdowns on the night. All Sammy, all Harrison. They win it 45-19. Maldonado finishes unofficially with 355 yards in 3 quarters.
We just had to get played as a team, and everybody just connected and focused, and we just played as a team, I guess.
All humility aside, is there anybody out there that can stop you?
I don't know, maybe not.
At least not tonight. Maybe isn't an option when it comes to
Championship Sports is next.
a few more games to go to get to that point, get up to Syracuse, but the first stop outside the county for Harrison will be in Kingston this weekend. So a lot of games going on this weekend. Harrison in the hunt. Schools may be off for Veterans Day, but when you're getting ready for a regional championship game, oh, that's a different story. In fact, Harrison High School's Friday night game in Kingston is so big, today the Huskies went to college. Harrison took the field at Iona in New Rochelle to practice for Friday's game against Rondout Valley. The reason? Friday's game will be played on turf, not grass, the same surface the Gales use. Huskies coach Art Troilo believes the New Rochelle facility can only help.
Well, it's great that we get a chance to play on AstroTurf. We scrimmaged earlier in the year up at New Canaan on turf, and it's a good experience. But since we're playing on turf Friday night, we need to get on here with different kind of shoes and kick the ball with either sneakers or turf shoes and just get used to a turf. So it's it's imperative that we practice on turf.
I don't think it's going to affect us too much. We scrimmaged New Canaan, in the preseason. It's just going to make the tempo of the game a lot faster. But I think that's definitely an advantage to us with a back like Sammy.
Indeed, Sammy Maldonado had 355 yards in the game this past weekend, so could be very, very huge for Harrison. The class.
Their second trip to the state Final Four in the last 3 years. Today they met Del Val in the regional finals. And if there were betting lines in high school football, Edgemont's would have been a 45-point favorite. We'll tell you if they covered. That's all next in sports. And then there were 4. That's how many Westchester County football teams still entertain dreams of a state title heading into the weekend. And you'll excuse Edgemont if they already had themselves penciled into the state semifinals. The unbeaten Panthers took the field tonight against a Highland team that finished 5-5 in a very weak Section 9. First quarter, Edgemont up 7-0. The give is to Powder Keg Peter Coe, and a scary moment for the Panther faithful. Section 1's all-time leading rusher turns his ankle. The injury is not believed to be serious. With Coe out, QB Drew Nadler stepped up. It's the quarterback with the feet. Nadler scampers 58 yards. He scored 3 rushing touchdowns in the first half. And by then, the game was over. 55-12, the final. Edgemont will meet Saranac Lake next Saturday. Saranac Lake beat Voorheesville today, 31-6. In Class D, Valhalla put their #1 ranking in New York State on the line against Delaware Valley. Del Val may want to change their name to the Rulianos. Senior running back Fred Ruliano has been a one-man wrecking crew, and every time he touches the ball, he adds to his state record rushing total. And Ruliano lived up to his billing. Already over 6,000 yards in his career. Valhalla must have felt like he picked up 6,000 more today. The rule of Ruliano, he covers 16 yards on this one. Valhalla behind the 8 ball, down 32-0 at the half. The 19-year-old Ruliano, far from finished, goes over 300 yards for the game, and the Vikes give up as many points in one game as they did all year, 40-14, the final.
A lot of people didn't respect us in the newspapers. We just wanted to come out and show everybody that we're a class ball team and that we can play.
You start off with 100 teams in Class D, and everybody finishes with a loss except one team.
Well, Ruliano's effort was the second time in as many days that Dietz Stadium has seen a dominating running performance. If you know how to stop Harrison's Sam Maldonado, you're lying. If you don't know how to stop Sammy, you're not alone. Rondout Valley didn't have a clue as to how to wrap up Mr. Maldonado in last night's Class B regional final. Sam Heam ran for over 300 yards for the second straight game. Last night's numbers, 315 yards, 4 touchdowns. Harrison stops, drops, and rolls all over Section 9's best. 47-6 the final. The Huskies will play Ravenna next Saturday. Same Sam channel, different Sam time. 3 o'clock Saturday, that game will be at Dietz Stadium. The best game of the weekend came in the Class A regional finals when Yorktown battled back from a 10-point deficit with under 3 minutes to go in the game. Steve Lewis pulled
For the holidays, a state football championship.
It is the last stop. A little more traffic this weekend as far as Harrison and Edgemont is concerned, holiday traffic, but it's a place they definitely want to be. Most people enjoy being home for the holidays, but when you got a shot at a state championship, well, home is wherever you hang your helmet. A pair of county teams will trek to Syracuse during Thanksgiving weekend. The Edgemont Panthers have a shot at their first state crown. Quarterback Drew Nadler sliced and diced Saranac late in the state semifinals. Nadler racked up 3 touchdowns to spark Edgemont's latest offensive explosion. Edgemont plays Notre Dame of Elmira for the Class C state crown. That game Friday, game time 1 o'clock. Edgemont's 11-0, Notre Dame 12-0. Harrison also earned a ticket to Syracuse via Kingston. The Huskies outgunned Ravenna 34-27, this in the Class B semis. The Huskies' 13 points in the 4th quarter made the difference. Harrison will take the field at the Carrier Dome Sunday. A high noon showdown with Lackawanna, this for the Class B state championship. Harrison heads in 9-2. Lackawanna, get this, a staggering 13-0. They are also the defending state champs. In the NFL, Jets coach
football, not only Thanksgiving, you got all those turkey bowls, right? And you've got the big state championships this weekend, Walt.
Both Harrison and Edgemont heading north, and a lot of fans will be going up with them.
Yes,
So
big Thanksgiving.
Maybe not the usual Thanksgiving weekend for those towns, but going to be an exciting one. The high school football state championships do kick off before the Thanksgiving turkey will be settled in your stomach. Greg Frith reports Harrison High School has something extra to be thankful for the holiday season.
I usually go to my grandma's, so this year we had to make a few arrangements for Thanksgiving, but my family doesn't mind because they're just excited that I'm going.
Actually, we all go to my grandparents' house, just sit around, watch some football, and eat some dinner, and that's it.
Thanksgiving dinner will be extra special this year for the Harrison Huskies. To go along with that turkey is a side order of anticipation as the team preps to head up to the New York State Class B Championship. Now, this team did not even win the regular season league title, yet they're heading up to Syracuse for the first time in school history.
It's really exciting. You know, everybody's excited. There's so many people going. It's kind of like a dream come true. You know, we worked so hard for this.
This is very, very exciting for everybody involved. You know, the town of Harrison is, you know, rich in football tradition, and this is the first time a Harrison team has ever been in the state final, so everybody's very, very excited.
Harrison will play 13-0 Lackawanna Sunday at noon. Lackawanna sports a solid running game, but probably not as solid as the running game the Huskies bring to the Carrier Dome. Sammy Maldonado has carried the Harrison offense, so expect them to dance with the one who brought them. Number 5 will likely get 25 to 30 carries. His production is a given. What will make the difference in the game is who comes to play.
Everybody knows it's a big game. It's just a matter of who's got it the best in here. It's not a matter of who could tackle, who could throw, who could run. It's all about your heart and your emotions.
They're a very good team, but we're a very good team also, so I think who comes to play that day is going to win it. So.
In Harrison, Greg Frith, News 12 Sports.
Thank you, Greg. By the way, Justin Haynes' grandfather saw the first Harrison football game in 1929, and he hopes to be at Sunday's game in Syracuse. Remarkable story. Well, Edgemont heads to Syracuse tomorrow. The Panthers have been practicing this week at Fordham University to get used to playing on a turf field. Edgemont takes a powerful offense into Friday's matchup with Notre Dame of Elmira, this for the Class C crown. Now, only once in 11 games have the Panthers scored less than 42 points. That came in a 27-0 win over Westlake in the first game of the year. Of course, it starts with quarterback Drew Nadler, but as Coach Brian Conley says, it doesn't stop there.
We just have an unbelievable group of skilled athletes. The quarterback is great. I got a good fullback. My tight end is tremendous. I got a 6'4" split end. I got a couple halfbacks, but the most consistent thing on all of it is the offensive line has been great.
So Edgemont looking to light it up at the Carrier Dome. Elsewhere, the doctor who has been treating Joe DiMaggio in a Miami High
East now, I'll tell you that in a little bit. And speaking of first place teams, Harrison and Lackawanna were fighting for the right to be called number 1. I'll have highlights coming up next in sports.
Weekend for the folks in Harrison.
Yeah.
So close and yet didn't get there.
Yeah, I know. It's difficult, too, when you win as much during the whole season and to get this far and all the adrenaline motion is going. And to fall in the final game of the season is very difficult, but these guys will rebound, I'm sure.
Nothing to be ashamed about.
Of course not.
Make it this
of course
far
not.
along.
If you get up to Syracuse, you should be a proud team no matter what, win or lose. John, Edgemont did it Friday. Harrison was trying to do it today. A win over Lackawanna High School, and the Westchesters would own the Class B and C state football titles. But as our Greg Frith reports, the Huskies need a little more D to win the B title.
Harrison High School has competed in football since 1929, and not once in all those years have they been considered the best team in New York State. That could all change today with a win over 13-0 Lackawanna in the Class B state title game. And to do so would put the Huskies in a unique situation. State champs without being league champs. Kind of like winning Miss New York after losing out as prom queen. But I'll take my chances with 2 losses and Sammy Maldonado as opposed to no losses and no Sammy. But it was a different running back reaching the end zone first. Lackawanna's Cowboy Joe West on his horse and galloping 59 yards for the touchdown. Steelers go up early 6-0. Maldonado was kept in check until late in the first half. Finally frees himself up and goes 41 yards up the near sideline to scoreland. A missed extra point later, it was 6-6 at halftime. Second half, Sam the Bull goes back to work. First drive of the half, and there he is again, going 22 yards. Huskies up 12-6. But Lackawanna answers the call. Wade Turner scoots in from 6 yards. They converted on the 2-point conversion, 14-12 bad guys. Harrison looks to answer with the pass, but Matt Handelsman is picked off by Nelvin Wilder. Lackawanna fans going Wilder as Nelvin takes it deep into Harrison territory. 3 plays later, Joe West at his best again. Off the end around, West slips through 3 maroon shirts, and then he's off. 25 yards. West had 135 yards on the day. Another 2-point conversion. Charles Kowalski somehow hooks up with West off the deflection. 22-12 Lackawanna on the shimmy. Fourth quarter, Maldonado is in for the 3rd time. 178 yards on 26 carries. This score cuts it to 22-18. Under 5 minutes to go, Lackawanna was forced to punt, but they pull off the fake-a-roo. Harrison doesn't see the ball again. Lackawanna wins their 2nd straight state title, 22-18.
When we first lined up, it looked like he took a few of his starters out to give him a little bit of a blow for the last 2-minute drive or 3-minute drive, whatever was left. And that's why we called timeout, and I went out and talked to our kids that if they were in the same formation with the same kids, we were going to go with the fake. And if he substituted, we were going to take a 5-yard penalty and then punt it from there, because we were inside. I think we were just inside the 50. So a 5-yard penalty wouldn't have made any difference one way or the other, but they stayed with the same lineup, and then we ran it. We practiced that.
It was a great season. We seemed to always come back when we were down, and we needed to score twice in the 4th quarter to win, and we were able to come back. It just wasn't, we didn't have enough time. I thought if we had a little more time, and I thought we would have come back, and I'm proud of our kids, and they showed some character there.
There are many reasons Harrison came up at the short end of a 22-18 final in the Class B state championship game, that fake punt being one of the biggest. But the key reason the Huskies are not coming home with a state crown, their defense just could not stop Lackawanna when they needed to come up with a big play. Fear not, Harrison faithful. It was a great season, took you all the way up to the Carrier Dome. And guess what? Sammy Maldonado, well, he's only a junior. Reporting from Syracuse, this is Greg Frith, News 12 Sports.
All right, thank you, Greg.